Yeah.
Yep.
And the lady in the shadow, who's that? Phyllis. Phyllis, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, sorry.
We're with Ed Slater of the Center for Respite Care.
Well, hello to everybody. Yeah, my name is Ed Slater. I'm the Chief Advancement Officer for the Center for Respite Care. My duties are things development, and then we're a relatively small shop, so I coordinate at least the beginnings of a relationship with our volunteers, and then they're in. And this is Kay Berlew.
Hi, everybody.
Kay's the medical recovery manager, and she was out just managing some medical recovery. One of the clients had a concern, and so she had to leave, but she's here. And so the Center for Respite Care is a 24/7, 20-bed medical facility. Our clients are adults who are experiencing homelessness. They've had to stay in the hospital or another medical facility and have a need, because of some acute diagnosis, have a need for a place to recover rather than the street or the shelter system that couldn't deal with what they would have going on. So we're started in 2003, incorporated in 2005. We started out at the Center for Addiction Therapy over on Ezra Charles. We were under the umbrella of a nursing home, a building that they had in Avondale. And then in 2017, at the end of the year, we moved clients into the third floor of the St. Anthony Center at Liberty and Republic and Over the Rhine. It's a service hub. All the various agencies are independent of each other, but we serve similar clientele in terms of economic needs and such. And there's collaboration among the different, like for example, Franciscan Health Haircuts for the Heart have a salon in the Mary Magdalene lobby, Mary Magdalene House, which is a shower house, and get your clothes changed. But anyway, our folks can go get a haircut. There's a foot care agency, and so our folks can get care for their feet and such. So a lot of collaboration. We've been delighted to partner with your foundation a couple of years and to have your resources support what we call our From Medical Recovery to Independence program. So we get a referral. Hello, this is UC social work. And so our nurses would talk with those social workers, and the client's needs would be laid out and faxing back and forth with information. And then the decision is made that, yes, we can be of service to this person. They come to us, meet with the medical team. A plan is drawn up. Our goal is for them to take as much charge of their health that they can by the time they're leaving here, to understand their medications, and got something going on outside. And then they would meet with Kay and the case management team within 48 hours and plan to work on the things that are keeping you from leaving here to a safe, secure environment, that people aren't just returning to the street because they're feeling better. So, okay, does that lay it out pretty well? Good.
I know. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The other hospitals that refer to you would be the Mercy System, Christ, and Tri-Health.
And St. Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth, yes. And then I think you've said in the past that all of the hospitals which refer to you make generous contributions to your program, except for St. Elizabeth, right?
we're working on that. They're coming for a site visit at the end of the week.
Oh,
One
wow.
of our experiences, our CEO is out for a meeting, but she would say that probably one of her greatest challenges is, along with steering the ship, hospitals, they are always changing their administration. And so you'll see those announcements in the Business Courier or what have you. And so then we're always reintroducing ourselves to that top level of people. We're fortunate to have a number of medical professionals on our board, and often they can bridge that conversation and such. Yeah, St. E's is coming to see us. So that's exciting. It's nice to be able to have people again. So
Is that
yeah.
St. Elizabeth, the hospital folks, or is that St. Elizabeth, the foundation coming?
It's my understanding is that it's hospital administrative people, like top nurses and that sort of group. And then the funding is varied in terms of how it's put together. Like with UC, we have a per diem relationship. Christ Hospital, it comes through their foundation. Mercy had been, and then they're back with the hospital. So it just varies in terms of how they want to partner with us, how best.
Speaking of the funding, I did notice on your application that it said only 2 grants were awarded. All the rest were denied, not pending, were denied. And that kind of stuck out to me. Is there a reason why?
Well, we've been told that it had to do with their own restrictions in terms of, or constrictions, I guess, in terms of their own economics. We were happy that, for example, Scripps Howard, who we've partnered with several times, they have a grant cycle for up to 15,000, and they encouraged us to apply for that. So that window will be coming up in October. We're continue to prospect and feel confident about that, but it varies, I think, in terms of organizations and their ability to, in the face of the pandemic and their own finances. On the other hand, we were invited by last year, both the Nippert Foundation and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation, in their conjunction with United Way, we got emergency monies from them. So yes, I am always disappointed with the denial.
Is it still a situation where the food is coming from somewhere else? That it's
Monday through Friday, we have food comes up from the St. Francis Seraph Ministries kitchen. That relationship has been there from the beginning, and then we supplement that with food from our pantries and freezers that are donated or through our relationship with the Free Store Food Bank. So, for example, they're sending up sandwiches, and so we'll make stew or something, that kind of thing. The staff is really good with the crock pots and stuff, and
breakfast is on your own, and then
it's continental. They bring, we get breakfast from them. Yeah, fruit, milk, cereal. Yeah, and then we'll keep eggs, oil and oats and all that kind of stuff. So, and then on the weekends, we have a volunteer provided meal program, and that's continues to grow. And this past year, it kind of turned into drive-through in reverse, and that people would bring the food and come in to our garage. They've got 2 big doors, the in and out below on the street level, and we would get the food and then they would go off. We've just been able now to have folks begin to come back and serve the food and then share the meal with the clients. And those that feel comfortable have been doing that. Masked, of course, and distancing, but we, you know, that we can have people on the floor again. So that's really great. Because I think there's the food, which is of course important, but there's also the socialization and the chance to interrelate with our volunteers and others.
And you
So-
have an elevator to go
Yes,
to
ma'am.
your level.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
While you have the people under your care, do they get COVID shots?
They're offered.
They're offered.
It's a continuous daily kind of questionnaire. How are you feeling about it? Right now, every person on the unit, I believe, except for 4, have actually had their vaccine. So
We were, because we were first here, I'm in a medical facility, we had the shots available to us very early on, and were able to it was really a great workshop kind of thing with our own physician, Dr. Donovan, and one of the board members, Dr. Flume, and then Lori herself, our CEO, just talking about it from the requirements at the state level. And anyway, talking about the vaccine, and 100% of that group of clients opted to get vaccinated. So I think they support each other in that sort of thing. And then we have regular testing. Yeah,
for those that are not vaccinated.
for those that are not vaccinated. Yeah. I never thought I would be testing so much. We got to be once a week, so yeah.
So the funding you're asking for is more or less just like the same funding we've provided in the past.
Exactly, operation for the program, yeah.
I do
And
have one other question, just one. The amount of days, the average amount of days people are there seem kind of long to me for somebody who's post-op. Is the average amount of day like 56 days? Am I on the right page?
Well, again, I think that has a lot to do with COVID and the way things have changed in the community. As COVID struck us and we pretty much had to hunker down, their ability to be housed kind of went on the back burner with most of the organizations themselves. Just getting them into some type of case management, inpatient, outpatient, became pretty difficult in the sense of moving quicker. So I think as we move into this new phase, our time here will get less. So for that number to be something to say, yeah, that's exactly what it is. No, I'm not going to say that. But just recently, here we've actually housed 2 people. I've got another person on the wing of going into a group home, and that's all kind of moved quicker because we've opened up a little bit. So I think, yeah. And again, we weren't going to, even if our clients became MRD during that pandemic time, what we changed was what we would call appropriate housing, meaning, is it going to do them well to go into the shelter right now? Not really, because there they were just sitting, I'll say the word stagnant. At least here we would keep moving and moving and moving. And then finally, as we opened up, their placement became shorter. So I think that has more to do with, the pandemic and getting through it. So.
prior to the pandemic, what was the average stay?
This is an estimate, 45 maybe?
That's what we were working on.
Yeah. Around 40 and 45 days coming in to the facility, somebody who's been homeless for who knows, 10 years, and us being able to place them in what we call a safe housing opportunity. That's pretty good. So.
Yeah, along with the medical, there's, well, and then that too, things compounding. But the getting your ID together, getting all that, it takes time. We're very, it's great because we are a 24/7 presence that our case managers are there, you know, Monday through Friday, and then sometimes the weekend. So you'll hear people on the unit like, oh, I got homework for Dave tomorrow. So it's like they're supposed to be calling these organizations and getting things where the whole goal would be to get them participating very much in their own activities of getting to be homed. Yeah.
I can let you know that everything about identification changed because of the pandemic. It's harder to get an ID. It's harder to get a social security card. It's harder to get a birth certificate because everything is done in a different format now that keeps less people exposed. So for instance, to get their social security card, I have to trust that when they get their ID and we send it in the mail, that Social Security is going to send it back to the right person, or now they've lost their ID again. So it's definitely changed the way we do what we would almost call the simplest of things. But we're still, I believe at this point, every single individual on my unit has an identification card, and we're working towards almost 100% birth certificate and Social Security card. So it just takes time.
Is everybody ambulatory?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
They come there ambulatory,
Yes, ma'am.
even if they're coming from the hospitals,
Right. I mean, you see canes and walkers and that sort of thing.
but they're able to move.
But yeah, they have, we just have to be able for people, even if they're scooting down the stairs, in case of, you know, while we have regular fire drills and tornado drills and that kind of thing, but God forbid we actually have a problem. And if somebody, there would be other things that like would be available if they weren't ambulatory. So yeah, we try to keep as low a bar as possible.
Could you
What did you
clarify
just mean?
something?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did you mean by if they weren't ambulatory? You can accept them if they're not?
The criteria to get in here is an acute medical need, homelessness, and they have to be able to walk the 3 flights of steps to this
Okay.
to this unit.
Mhm. Excuse me, Andy.
No. Could you just clarify one thing for me that I was confused on? On the application, I noticed you said like 69% of your clients are through substance abuse and mental problems, but yet you said only 11% are homeless. I was under the impression that a much larger percentage would be homeless.
I believe it's chronically homeless, which is its own definition by HUD in terms of how many months you've been
Out on the streets. Okay.
What it means to be in the chronically homeless part actually is more dealing with the strategies where they present with homeless certs. He's right. Chronically homeless means that you've been on I believe our streets for more than a year. Consistently, if you're 90 days in anywhere now, you're not considered chronically homeless. And a lot of these people end up in shelters. They end up in somebody's living room. That's the chronically homeless thing, even in the sense of what we use as any kind of guidance is kind of, it really doesn't play much part with us because we don't provide homeless certs. But that's a part of the programming in Vesta. So
that's all HUD related,
yes.
and HUD definitions. Yeah, all of our folks are homeless.
So that's what I was thinking. So I just couldn't get those
yeah.
two numbers. It was just the
Yeah, and
definition of federal
Thinking
government.
about the future, I probably should define that term then, if it's confusing. So I will
Just to me.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm always looking for ways to be as concise, but yet as clear as possible.
And maybe just touch, the only thing I noticed new, because like you said, we're pretty familiar with the program. You're now getting a little assistance from an intern in social work for MKU, just to take the load off a little of your case management?
We haven't re-upped, but we have the relationship. We're always looking for ways to pair up. We've got a conversation going on with Christ Hospital School of Nursing that wanted to place a couple students with us as interns. So we have a volunteer, Nancy, good friend of the center, she and her husband, who have their own nonprofit. They go to Africa and set up fire departments. But Nancy is a licensed social worker and has the credential to be able to supervise. And she and Lori have relationship, our CEO have a relationship with NKU. So we approached their social work school. And so we got Monterey Hughes. He was working on his master's, so already a social worker. And so he came here, and this was a placement for him. And it was just really exciting because he kind of was the activities for us. A lot of things that we would do with the clients in the past, you know, have groups in and educational kind of things and all that we couldn't do. So he could do programming and do individual one-on-ones, but he could also call a bingo game, that kind of thing. So yeah, he comes, he's still in the city, and we're talking to him about coming on one of our board committees, but we hope to get another intern soon.
Why didn't you re-up with Northern, with NKU?
We did.
We did.
Well,
We're,
we're
I thought you
actually
said.
waiting.
we're waiting to get a new intern.
Oh, I thought you said we didn't re-up, excuse me. Mhm.
Sorry, my diction is clear. We want that to continue.
I would think, yeah.
I don't have any questions. Like Andy said, we're pretty familiar. Is there anything like we didn't ask that happened within the last year since we spoke that we should have asked, or anything? But like I said, I'm pretty familiar. If not, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, that's
No. I find navigating your the way things are laid out and all that we have the opportunity to share the story. So, and I think you want to know what we're doing, and we want to tell you. So yeah.
Well,
And Jordan, I have to say that every time I call, you're just very helpful, because I get, do they mean this or do they mean that? And I'm never made to feel like we used to leave. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. And you too, Ruth. Thank you.
Hey, Dick or Frank or Phyllis, do any of you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
One question, I guess, of the hospitals that are donating, what percentage of your funding comes from hospitals?
It's the percentage of funding from the hospitals, and that just it's around like 28%. Can I email that to you? Our CFO just, with the new fiscal year and all that, I know that some of that stats have changed and I don't have it memorized, and I'm not in my office, but it's like 30, 28-ish in that
Each
way.
one, or is that the total? That's the total.
Total.
3 hospitals so far that participate. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're hoping St. E will come on board.
East, Tri-Health, Mercy, Christ, UC. So there's the 4. Yeah, and we want St. E's has been fallow for a couple of years, if you will. Yet they call. They want us to take their clients. So we've got a couple St. E's right now. Yeah.
Financially.
Do you have any questions for us? We were fortunate to get day 1, I guess, of your interviews or site visits. The timetable then, in terms of yay or nay,
our board meets at the end of this month on the 28th. And as you know, we like to get back to everybody pretty much within a week of the meeting.
Yeah.
So kind of the first week in August, you'd hear back from us.
That's another great thing about your website, and sometimes a frustration with me with some of the others, is that you have that grid and it points this to that, this to that, to that.
That grid was a pain to make. A professional like designer made it originally, and then we switched
Yeah.
switched some things around, many, many years ago. And we saw the bill that came in from the professional designer, and we were like, oh, like, we don't want to pay that again to like shift
Ooh.
stuff around. So I
Yeah.
was jerry rigging some stuff together to try to make it kind of look like it is. So
Well, everything is
Okay.
transparent, which I really appreciate, because some other ones, it's like,
Mhm.
should I guess, or is anybody gonna call
Yeah.
me back, or what? So, yeah.
Well, I guess thanks for your time this afternoon. We appreciate it. Always good seeing you again.
Well, thank you all. Yeah.
Hey, I will tell you guys an update. Last year, we had a young man in the interviewing
Mhm.
process. I think you need to know that he was awarded his SSI. He went through a drug rehab and he now has his own apartment. So that's
That
the
was-
good stuff, right?
Yeah.
That was Matt.
Yeah.
We met him, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was in
yeah.
the interviewing last
Yeah,
year. So I
he-
just thought you might remember him and want to know.
He
So-
was great. He just kind of like, yeah, I want to talk to them. Well, all right, Matt, you come on.
he has had some successes. So
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good thing.
yep, that's good to hear.
Well, if you
Yes.
have any other questions that pop up after our little talk today, don't hesitate to call us.
Will do. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Have a
Bye.
great day.